So this is my 2024 Tw200. I got this thing with 150 miles on it back in January. Absolutely nothing done to it. And I am now at 1756 on the mileage. And I guess since we're right here, I'll start off with all of this and everything that's going on. If you can see this bright green, it's kind of harder to see, but that is a bracket that I found, and I will try and put a link in the description. It was a free file I found to house the charger and voltmeter. I have modified it to have a switch for my Baja Designs auxiliary lights. It's still bright green because it is actually a prototype. I've been tweaking a bunch of stuff with it, but it's there, it works. Then next I've got this, and that is for my heated grips, which I absolutely love. In colder weather, they're great. High is a little too high, but that's fine. I love having them. They're nice, especially on those colder mornings if you ride to or from work, whatever. Next up is bar risers from Tusk Off-Road or Rocky Mountain ATV. These are the 30 millimeter risers. I had the 15 millimeters first. I put them on, realized they weren't tall enough for what I wanted, so I swapped over to the 30 millimeters and absolutely love them. Would recommend for anybody. Do that, especially if you want to stand at all. Next up, I still have stock mirrors. Don't worry about that. They don't look great. Next up, I know I hacked up my grips, but I put on these bar and handlebar grips, covers, guards. I put on these handlebar guards. These are the Tusk D-Flex ones. They were like 60 bucks or something for the set. I don't know if you can see, but it says Tusk right there. I did have to shave in clearance for the crossbar here on the handlebars on both sides. And you can see I got real close. I got them just to where they're kind of perfect, in my opinion. Absolutely love these things. They have saved my hands a couple of times. As you can see, they have definitely saved my hands. They saved my hands the other day when I went down again. Next up here on the front, I did the JP Industries headlight. I actually really like it. I think it puts out, personally, about the same amount of light as OEM, but it casts it a little bit further, and the high beam is pretty decent. I then also paired on these Baja Designs S2 Pros. These spit out about 2,200 lumens a piece, just on some cheapy, quick, fabbed up bracket that I made. Yeah, try and show it as best as I can. It's kind of hard to see, but right there, just ties into those two bolts on the triple clamp. These things are phenomenal and put out an amazing amount of light. And yeah, they're just great. I have them wired, as you could see up there on the dash, to their own switch. So if I flip those on, you can kind of see just how bright those things are even in the daylight. They are super bright. Kick those back off. What else? I upgraded the front tire. This is the Shinko 244 I don't know if you can see that. This is the Shinko 244 SR 244, quote unquote the golden boy. This front tire, as you can see, is way knobbier than the factory, and this thing is way better. This thing trails on gravel roads so much better. Even on the pavement, that thing trails way better. It is phenomenal. That factory one, like people call it, the death wing and all that stuff, this thing legitimately grips. This thing, I have not had any sketchy moments with this tire itself. And just the other day, I went through some pretty thick mud. I mean, I think the mud was about up to here. It was pretty high. And then on the rear, that mud was up to here. And it was just thick clay. And I'm here in Oregon, lovely state of Oregon. And this thing did just fine in that mud. Had to drag the bike a little bit, but that wasn't any fault to the tires. That was me not realizing how deep the mud was. Coming back, I have the Tusk off-road skid plate, and I 100% recommend this thing. Although I haven't really hit it, it's guarded a lot of rocks, and this thing is just built pretty well from what I can tell. I really like it. If you've seen the factory ones, and if you're watching this video, you might know those factory ones are thin, just almost 10. They kind of suck. So this is way heavier, comes out way further to guard the case and everything on both sides. I also have the Tusk off-road foot pegs. I know there's some other ones out there that people run too. These are wildly better than factory. Factory suck, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion. They have about that tread. They're about that big, so they're maybe half the size of that thing. I think that was one of the first things I did, was swapped out that. Like I said, those factory ones were horrendous. Now, I'm still rocking the factory tire on the rear, and quite honestly, I have zero issues with that factory tire in the rear. I think it's actually a really good tire from what I can tell. I haven't had any kind of traction issues, and like I said, I've been in some deep mud on some tight trails, stuff that guys are making with their 47s and 40s on lifted Broncos and stuff. So that rear tire has done great for me. That's the whole front end of this. Now, getting to the rear, as you can probably tell by the two cans, stuff's a little bit different. I've got the Cycle Racks rear rack, and then I have made these mounts that mount right there to the Cycle Racks rack, and then right there. And both sides mount pretty much the same. You can see, and this one comes down. I can still use my helmet lock. It's a little difficult, but I can use it. And now if I go ahead, and I'll take the water one off, as it will show. I have 2 gallons of fuel, and I've got 2 gallons of water. It is drinking water, which is nice. So if I'm, you know, camping or way back on a trail and I run out of water in my pack, I have plenty of water here. Or if I, say, start a fire for like a campfire, and I need to put it out, I have 2 gallons of water. These are Roto packs, if you can't tell. They are the 2-gallon Roto packs. I bought these. They are quote-unquote blemished ones. There's a couple things on them that don't look great. I bought them direct from Roto packs. And because they're blemished, I got both for 90 bucks. instead of only the fuel for $90, plus like another $50 for the water. So this combo was only $90 for both of them. And I know they're a little expensive, and I do question a 1 gallon version of this rather than the 2 gallon ones. But if I go ahead and I just slide that off, you can see these are just knockoff Amazon special brackets. Rotopacks, they ask like $70 for these things. I think for a single one locking, I bought lockable ones, a pair of them for like $60. So you could buy the legit ones, or you can kind of do what I did and buy these ones. Now, this is the bracket that I made. You can see how it's mounted up, how it's designed and everything. I just did this with a simple bottle jack style tube bender. I don't think they came out too bad. Tied up there, tied in here. And the way that I've got these made up, I can actually pull it off in about, at most, 5 minutes. I can get this one and these two unscrewed. They're just 2 Allens per clamp, and I can get the whole thing pulled off and just have the bare cycle racks. And I think that makes it really nice. I can pop them off if I have a passenger back here. You can still get the foot pegs with, or have your legs resting on the foot pegs even with the cans, surprisingly. The way I made them, a little hard to tell, but it's just about flat, so I should still be able to fit a bunch of stuff onto it. And yeah, I don't know, that's kind of a walk around of my T-dub as of at least now. My next endeavor is to figure out modifying this muffler, because the ones out there are kind of expensive. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna try and make some trail content and other stuff, but you can see how easily these cans just slide on. I still need to change how the blinkers are, because they do rub, and there's just a little dent there and a little dent there. And then on the water one, there's a little mark made there. So I am gonna need to modify these or get replacement blinkers that are shorter and do that. But yeah, that should be all that I need to do on that. I think they look really good. You don't notice the weight much at all, and they don't stick out too far. And then you can see these tighten up just like it would on a normal Rotopack mount. And that thing is solid on there. Okay, so just put that back on, and I do have one last thing that I did to this, which is harder to see. I did do the 47 tooth rear sprocket. I probably need to get a new chain because I'm adjusted pretty far out, but I did do the 47 tooth rear sprocket. Absolutely love it. I don't care what people say, it actually does really good off-road. I go down some trails that are, I don't know, 5 miles an hour at most, maybe a little bit faster, a little bit slower, around 5 miles an hour. And I have not noticed any issues with that 47 tooth sprocket. And it gets you just a little bit more for highway ability. I did drive it on the highway today. I was doing 60, 65 kind of range, and no problems with that at all. And then my last thing that I didn't show off is this shift lever. It's a breakaway, and once again, it's a tusk. A lot of this stuff is Tusk stuff, just because it's a decent price, and actually after using their foot pegs and everything for a while, and I've gone down a couple of times, and their stuff seems to work really good. This shift lever, I really like it. It's nice, it breaks away, it's still got plenty of grip from the gnarling there, and yeah, it works just fine. And I mean, that kind of concludes my tour of the bike. I'll do one walk around of it. As you can see, you can kind of see, I'll try and show off the fuel cans. They don't stick out too far. As you can see, the water can there, kind of at an angle, the way that I have it designed, and the fuel is a little bit more straight up and down. And that's because of how I built those two side brackets. They're not identical, because this side was made so I could retain the helmet lock. They are very similar in build. And this side had to avoid the muffler, which I do also have a heat shield on, just as an added for the water. But they are not exactly the same for each side, right and left, but they are very similar. This one does come down a lot further onto here, as you can see. I think on that side, because of the helmet lock, it pokes in up here. Otherwise, exhaust is stock. Everything engine wise is stock carbs, stock. Haven't done anything mechanically to it other than that rear sprocket and the front tire. Suspension is all the same, although I did, and this is a pain to do, and you got to pull a bunch of stuff apart, but I did pull the spring and rear shock out, and I did adjust it to the one stiffer. There's, at least on mine, you might be able to see those notches, and so I have it adjusted to the lowest notch, making it stiffer. There's 3 stages. There's this one here, there's that one there, and then there's one more. And that one more back there is what I adjusted to. I had to pull whole rear tire, everything off back there, chain off, all of that. And I had to drop the shock out completely, compress the spring, and rotate it, and then put everything back together. So whether you want to do that or not, I don't know. It makes it a little nicer, in my opinion, especially for me. But I'd say overall that setup is really nice, and it's nice because I ride around with these jugs on here most of the time, although I may end up popping them back off here soon. But yeah, there's a walk around of my 2024 T-Dub. Absolutely love this thing, and if you're contemplating getting one of these, 100% go for it. You could say that I've outgrown it on the street, because I can throw this thing around. It's not fast at all. I mean, it's really not. You'll top out at, I think I've hit 70, and that's a little sketchy. But that's not what this bike is for, you know. This bike is for those trails. It's for going slower, and that's where this thing really shines. I have so much room. I have so much room to grow with this bike. Off-road, on-road, I could totally move up. Off-road, this thing, I have so much more room to grow with it, and that's what I love about this thing. I do plan on trying to do some camping trip stuff, and got to figure out a whole setup for camping gear, but I do plan on doing that at some point. And when I do that, I'll probably try and post that up on here on YouTube and probably on my Instagram. But yeah, that's kind of a walk around. It's not in perfect condition anymore because I've dropped it a couple times, so I've scratched it, I've dented it, and there's a dent in the fuel tank, unfortunately. But that is my 2024 T-Dub. And yeah, it's pretty much stock mechanically. Like I said, I need to get a new rear change, smaller one, because I am towards the end of adjustments there. But other than that, this thing is an absolute blast. And it goes back to that old saying that everyone always says, and I will reiterate it: it's more fun to drive a slow vehicle fast than a fast vehicle slow. And I think that holds true to this. Absolutely great bike. Love these things. There may be some other stuff that I want to do. Like I said, I want to try and figure out the exhaust, make it a little bit louder, but not too loud. Some of the options I think are too expensive, personally. And, you know, I have a couple things from Bradley Performance. I don't remember where. I know air filter is a Bradley Performance. I may do the Bradley Performance header pipe that he's got. Got to do some more research there. There's some of the stuff on the Bradley Performance website that definitely is some good quality stuff. But yeah, there's my 2024 T-Dub. And if you like this kind of walk around video and want to see more of it, I'll try and keep posting. I'm going to keep trying to post onto YouTube. Maybe some trail rides, maybe some stuff off-road. And if anybody is interested in a video just completely in-depth about these, I think all I used was, I bought tubing from McMaster Car. I bought these clamps off of Amazon. They're weldable steel, everything was, and just used a MIG welder and some parts and yeah, bottle jack style tube bender, and kind of went on the fly of how to mount them and how they were going to go. And yeah, that's pretty much what they're like. So there's a full walk around of my T-Dub. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like, please. Maybe you don't have to. But I will be trying to post at least some different riding videos, and possibly some other videos of the bike, or maybe even when I modify it and stuff. But I think that's gonna do it for me today. Y'all have a good one, and maybe I'll see you next time.